Hi guys, so welcome back to my channel and welcome if you guys are new. So I am going through my makeup collection currently. I am trying to declutter some of the eyeshadow palettes that I no longer want off camera. I have laid out all of my eyeshadow palettes on top of my dresser now, and I will show you guys the eyeshadow palettes collection as a whole. I know that this is going to be a very slow journey for me because I had downsized my makeup collection more than 3 years or so ago, where I got rid of a lot of things in excess amount quite quickly, and of course I relapsed and purchased more and more makeup products in the later years after getting rid of my makeup collection, or rather whittling down my makeup collection, because at the time I was pursuing a beauty YouTube channel, which I have right now, and I had one goal in mind. I just want to accumulate more and more makeup products, so that way I have content for my beauty channel. And now I am altering that. I am going the opposite direction, where I want to have less and less of material goods in terms of clothing wise, accessories. That includes makeup and also experiences in general, and I just want to feel content. My overall life goal right now is to be content with everything that happens. I don't want to feel extremely happy. I don't want to pursue happiness in life, or I don't want to feel too sad. You know, like when you're on the highs of being too happy, my mom tells me this: if you laugh too much, you're gonna cry a lot. And maybe that's just a Burmese superstition, and I do truly believe that sometimes when I get overly happy and excited, and somehow the next day I'll be bawling my eyes out. I don't know why, but I want to keep a neutral feeling. Anyways, with that said, I'm going to show you guys all of the eyeshadow palettes that I have. I had shared it briefly with you guys. I am now down to like 60 eyeshadow palettes. So I'm going to show you guys the ones that I'm going to get rid of, and majority of the ones that I am deciding to keep. This is going to be a very slow progress, so don't be surprised if I am keeping a lot of the eyeshadow palettes currently. I am doing this because I don't want to relapse at all. I am taking my time, and as mentioned in my previous video, this is going to be a very slow journey, and it is not a sprint at all. I am taking my time, just slowly getting rid of things instead of rapidly removing everything all at once. Yeah, so let's get to the eyeshadow palettes. So I hope the lighting is decent, but let's start on this corner right over here. I have two of my ABH palettes. I'm definitely going to be keeping both of these. This is my favorite palette of all times. I'm not going to be depotting any of these palettes because I had decided to destroy this one. I had to repress some of the eyeshadows here, but this is my Modern Renaissance situation up here, and I had destroyed some of these eyeshadows, and yeah, they're not looking so pretty, but at least they're all condensed into one Z palette. I will show you guys that in a bit. But so we got 2 palettes that I'm keeping. I'm also keeping the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions eyeshadow palette. This was a PR palette, and I still really love it. I have to make use of this palette. And I also recently used these 2 palettes by GWQUHG Mario. This is the original one. I love this palette. I gave one to my sister, and it's really gorgeous. I'm also keeping this one as well. Really gorgeous. I think the color story and the pigmentation of these eyeshadows are good, but not great. And then I'm keeping some of these smaller eyeshadow palettes for traveling purposes. I travel with this palette specifically a lot, the Praline from Viseart, and I like that you can pop these individual pens as well. Yeah, in the future I want to repurchase some of the Viseart individual palettes. If I do run out of any of these shades, I will be repurchasing, because Viseart is a gorgeous brand, and yeah, I love the quality. It's a little bit drier for some people, but I do really like it. So yeah, this is my go-to travel palette. And then I have one Charlotte Tilbury's quad. I don't think I'll ever purchase another Charlotte Tilbury palette, because I don't think that the price matches the quality and the quantity of their palettes. So yeah, I'm not impressed by it. I do really love this color story. I think it's so easy to apply on and great for traveling purposes because of how compact it is. But otherwise, I don't think I'll be buying any more Charlotte Tilbury's quads. And then I have one of the Too Faced Hot Buttered Rum Holiday Palette, and I love the smell of this. And the color story is great for fall time, which is favorite season is fall. So I love this color story, especially on my tan, kind of like warm skin tone. This is really beautiful. You don't even have to use any of these warm shades, and this 4 right here just creates a everyday like great neutral eye look. So love it. And then I am still debating if I want to keep this one, but this is the NARS Climax palette. This is another one that's great for fall as well, because you have these darker tones down here. I think this grayish blue tone is very unique, and I love the army green shades in here as well. So this is a great 9 quad for fall as of right now. And then this is my recent purchase. This is the NARS Wanted eyeshadow that I got from Mercari for a really great deal. And this is the Wanted palette, and I've used a couple of the shades in here, and the shimmer shades in here are quite spectacular. This is also really small and compact, so great for travel as well. I might take this with me to New York next month. And then we have some of the ColourPop eyeshadows here. I have the Wild Child. This is mixed with some of the Pat McGrath shadows in here. I think 3 of these shades are from Pat McGrath. But I love this color story. This is a great warm neutral palette. And then I haven't used this one. This is the Golden Coconuts. I'm thinking to declutter this. I'm not sure if I want to yet, because I haven't used it at all. But some of these shades are quite gorgeous, and I know that I can depot some of these shades as well because it's pretty much magnetized. So I might keep this one for now. You know, and you guys have seen this palette numerous of times, the Mandalorian and the Child palette. Now these are just like collector's edition, but at the same time my boyfriend got this one for me for my birthday, and it came with a bundle. So I'm keeping this 2 I sold. I think one of the Child palette on my Mercari. I have another one to resell, but otherwise I really love the whole packaging look of these palettes, and I like the color story. I'm gonna keep these for sure. So moving on to some of the Natasha Denona's eyeshadow palettes. I have a lot of her mini eyeshadow palettes. I got rid of some of them already, and I was able to rehome pretty much all of them because these are quite popular. These Retro and Zendo looks really similar, but they are quite unique and different, so I'm gonna keep them for now. I like them. I like to have these for traveling purposes. They're quite small, so you can just pretty much throw them in anywhere. And I have the Mini Nude and Mini Glam palette. And then I have one of the I don't know if this is considered an eyeshadow palette, but technically it is because there's a quint in here. But this is the Glam Face palette, and this is my favorite for traveling purposes as well. I don't really care for the cream blusher or the cream highlighter per se, but I use them because they are quite pretty. And then I've shown this enough on my channel, but this is the Camel palette from Natasha Denona, and I can pretty much depot these if I wanted to as well. But these are so gorgeous. This is a perfect everyday sort of palette. If I have to just choose one palette, and if I was able to get rid of all of the other palettes, I would just keep this one, and I'm going to be perfectly satisfied with it. And then I have the Glam and the Bronze palette. So they were like the opposite end of the spectrum. This is a cool tone palette, also neutral palette that you can pretty much throw on any of these shades and create a very effortless look, which I really love. Now that we're transitioning into summer, it's almost the end of the spring, this is a great palette to whip out every time I want to get a nice bronzy look. This is gorgeous. So besides cool tone and warm tone palette, I have a very neutral tone palette. This is the exactly what it says, neutral Biba palette. And I was debating if I should keep this or not, but I like the pattern aspect of this palette, and it is quite beautiful. The pigmentation, everything is amazing, so I want to keep this for sure. So we're moving down here a bit, but I have some of the Pat McGrath in the back. I'm just gonna go over these palettes. So I have the 9 Pan Z palette. This is the I'm glad I never slept on these eyeshadows, but this is MUG Makeup Geek individual eyeshadows. I'm so upset that she went out of business, but her eyeshadows are superb, and you can see that I had made dents on some of these, like it's literally dented, like some of these transition shades. I know I can probably hit pan on some of these eyeshadows for sure, but I am glad that I had a chance to try out her eyeshadow formulation, and it's incredible. I'm so glad that I'm able to still keep some of her eyeshadows till now. We don't need to go over details about this, but I'm keeping the Mario, what is this palette? Ethereal Eyes palette. Not much to say about it, it's just gorgeous. And then this palette has been with me for the longest time, Tartelette in Bloom palette, and I love this for traveling purposes. It's just a very easy, effortless eyeshadow palette that everyone needs in their collection, I think. And then I'm still debating if I should keep these two, but I really love my MAC eyeshadows. I grew up watching people showcase their MAC eyeshadows collection, so of course I need to have this. And this is, I think, Nordstrom Anniversary palette. I don't know if they sell this anymore, but this is a palette curated with all of the popular MAC eyeshadows like Woodwinked or Amber Lights or Cork or things like that. And then this one, it's very similar to this one, but this is more of a very neutral tone palette, and every time I reach for both of these palettes I can create a very effortless look as well. And that's what I like about having eyeshadow palettes that can give me a very effortless look. I don't have to think much of it. I just pick up a palette and place these eyeshadows on my eyes, and I'm ready to be heading out the door. So these are some of my Pat McGrath holiday palette. I have two quints that I thought the color story is gorgeous. This one, it leans more of the pinkier tone, but I think when I swatched it, oh my gosh, these shimmers are so pretty, and I think this will be great for traveling. So this is Nude Allure, and then this is my favorite one. This is the Bronze Bliss, and some of these shimmery shades are, oh my gosh, if you guys have this, you have to use it during the holiday seasons, because it's just, you know, I'm planning to take this with me to wear for the wedding that I'm attending in July. It's just gorgeous. And then I have the Mega Mothership Palettes, 3 of them. I was going to declutter this one, the first one. This is called the Celestial Divinity Mega Mothership, and these are re-released from the Star Wars collection, I believe. This one and this one, the two middle rows are unique to this palette, the colors, and I love some of the dual shades in here, like especially this color is so gorgeous. Like on the camera it looks green, but right now I'm staring down from above and it's like shifting to purple. So purple and green, this color is super fantastic. And then this one, I thought this was my favorite out of the 3. but this is the Celestial Odyssey palette. I don't care for the layout of this palette, but I'm glad that she added some fun greens in here, which makes this palette quite unique, because I feel like Mama Pat doesn't really release a lot of the green tones in her palettes, which I wish she would do because it's more interesting. She loves her safe colors like golds and pinks, but this is a really pretty one. If you guys have it, let me know if you guys use this quite often. I should be making more tutorials on this, but I don't want to focus my channel on makeup anymore. This is the Mothership Mega and Celestial Nirvana, the latest Mega Mothership, I believe. And this one was quite unique. I got this for a really affordable price as well, because not a lot of people like the color story or something like that, but I find it quite unique, like especially this blue and this matte green. And some of these shades that I know I'm not very comfortable with, but this type of palette gives me inspiration, so I'm glad I am keeping it. And more palettes that I am deciding to keep are all of my Mothership palettes. I am using this sort of I guess office like divider clear acrylic situation to store all of my Mothership palettes. I was going to get rid of some of them, but I like the storage situation. This is better. So this is all of my, I guess it only fits 9 and I'm okay with that. I have my 10th one here, but these are pretty much all of my Mothership palettes. This is number 10. You guys know how Mothership looks like, so I don't have to go over each one of them, but I place them in like in order, like 1, 2, 3. Like this is the 9th one, this is the 7th one. That's how I kind of keep them in order, so I know which palette is which when I'm grabbing them, so I'm not confused by it. But yeah, these are all of the Mothership palettes that I'm definitely keeping. And then I have some of her quads over here. I think I showcased most of them on my ranking videos already, so you guys know how each of these looks like, but I am not planning to declutter any of these either, because they're just so beautiful, and every time I look at them I get inspiration from creating some sort of makeup look. But anyways, I'm not going to go over each one of them, because then that defeats the purpose of me showcasing which ones I'm going to declutter. So I have condensed all of these palettes into one Z palette, and I have the ABH Modern Renaissance, Urban Decay Naked, Lorac Pro, and Lorac Pro To Go. I depotted every single one of these palettes. They are ready to be discarded. They are not wasted by any means. I just don't need to have these sitting in my collection anymore. And yeah, I'm glad I was able to sort of semi-successfully depotted these, but look at it. They are laid out beautifully here. I have my Modern Renaissance, Lorac, Urban Decay Naked, and the Lorac Pro on the outskirts, and then I have one Tarte's contour palette here. This is the one of the bronzers from that palette. So this is a Tarte's. I had to depot this palette because the mirror is kind of falling apart, and I don't know, I just don't reach for it often, so I decided to depot this in here. So if you see like Tarte wordings for some of these pens, that's where it is from. So I'm glad that these 3 palettes fit into one Z palette, which makes so much sense to me. So again, Tarte. I have the ABH Nicole Guerrero highlighter. If you guys know, this is pretty old, and my latest palette from Pat McGrath. This is her Mothership Bijou Brilliant in Starstruck Splendor. I cannot stand the packaging. It's just hideous to me, in my opinion. And yeah, I depotted them very successfully for all of these palettes, at least, thank God. Here's what I have created. So all of the eyeshadows stays up here, some blushes, highlighters. This is quite a gorgeous Z palette that I have created, and I'm so proud of it because this took me quite some time, but I'm glad that I was able to depot these pans without doing much damage to any of them, so thank God. So we're finally moving on to some things that I am decluttering. These two 6-pan palettes from Pat McGrath, I wanted to keep these. I really did. The Pat McGrath Labs Mothership Sublime and Bronze Ambition. Such a gorgeous 6-pan palette, but I know I don't need it and I don't use it at all. Yeah. I sold one of these palettes for like 90 bucks, the La Vie en Rose, the purple one. And so I don't know what to price these, but I know a lot of people would like to have it. This is from the Pat McGrath Fault collection. She re-released it from time to time again. So anyways, this is really pretty too. This is the Mothership Subliminal Platinum Bronze palette. These can be rehomed for sure. I debated quite a bit about decluttering this Charlotte's Tilbury Starry Eyes to Hypnotize palette because I don't use it at all. I've used it maybe only once or twice, but yeah, I don't find myself reaching for this. This is a really gorgeous palette though. It comes in trios, so I just don't find myself using it. And the last palette that I'm going to be decluttering is Dose of Colors Desi X Katie Friendcation palette. Really gorgeous. I haven't touched it at all. I've been meaning to play with it, but I just don't find myself reaching for it at all. And I think it can be rehomed to somebody else. Really pretty. And then I have the Korean eyeshadow palettes that were sent to me from PR, and I don't really like them. This doesn't really show up on my skin tone at all, so I'm going to rehome these. I personally haven't tried out this one though, so I might keep one of these, but I might rehome this one. I don't know. I'm still debating on this because it doesn't take that much space in my makeup collection. But if it doesn't show up on my skin, then what's the point of keeping these, you know? So I am still left with a lot of eyeshadow palettes in my eyeshadow palettes collection. And I am trying to slowly downsize. As mentioned over and over again, I'm not trying to get rid of things just to get rid of things. I don't want to be boxed into anything as of right now. I am pursuing a minimalist lifestyle, but I'm not going to be getting rid of everything that I own overnight. Of course, I have the capability to, and I can definitely change my mindset to maybe a month or two from now. I don't want to revert back to being a materialistic way. I am just consuming things just to consume. I do want to have a goal of downsizing in the future and letting go of more things on my own time. This is going to be a journey for me. As I have mentioned, this is not a sprint, and I think it will take me some time. So a year or two from now, I know that my collection will definitely look different, and I probably won't have a makeup collection within 1 or 2 years from now, because my goal is definitely to get rid of more things in my possession to clear up my space and my mind. That's my future goal. I don't know if I will ever reach to that state in life, but I do believe that it will eventually happen someday. So if you guys like to follow me on this journey, please make sure to like and subscribe. I appreciate you guys all for watching and all for tuning in. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.